okay. I was like, them playoffs getting down to the nitty gritty, down to the last couple, to the last few, to the last sole survivors. And we have the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, and we have the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I was like, I was like, so I'm gonna say right now before I give out the picks of what I was going. I was like, basically, I was like, who I would rather see in the championship type of game. Most people right now, I was like, I already seen it like on like Twitter and stuff like that of like people are already basically saying this, the matchup everybody wants to see is the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders. And I was like, I think from necessarily the fans perspective, I think like the polling of it, I think that is true. But I was like, that does not do the ratings that is needed. Now, would I want to see that one? Sorta. I don't really think there's much intrigue for me, to be honest, with those two. I was like, that's really just more Kansas City Chiefs fatigue. That's what that is. But from the NFL's perspective, and I even think the fans' perspective, the NFL's perspective, and deep down what the fans need, not more so what they want to see, is I think they really need to see either the Eagles versus the Bills or Kansas City versus the Commanders. Mainly because with the Chiefs and with the Eagles, that seems like the matchup people don't want. I was like I said, there's Chiefs fatigue. So I was like, they don't want the Chiefs in there regardless. The Eagles are like, basically that would be like, oh, it's a rematch, and therefore a lot of people don't really want to see rematches, even though that sort of sounds a little crazy to me. But the reason I said you need one of those two teams versus the other one is because you need the fact, and I was like, and this is really more important with the Chiefs in general, is that it's going to be ratings high. And I get what you're saying. You're like, oh yeah, because Chiefs fans are going to blow the whole thing up and be like, ooh, this is the team and all this other stuff. And I was like, no, because as much as everybody always wants to talk about parity, because I was like, you want the parity that your team can win, but what people sort of love more than that is a villain that you want to see get their ass beat and crushed. And I was like, the Chiefs that's going for a three-peat, nothing will feel better for you as a fan is them losing. And I get what you're saying. You're like, oh man, them losing against the Bills, that's what I want. And it's like, yeah, you sort of do. And then you might get a championship game that you're just sort of like, that's over. And then you sort of half-ass with the game now, because you're just like, oh, there's nothing here. Whoever wins is okay. It's fine. But in reality, no, what you really want is for the Chiefs to be there. And you're like, oh my God, they're going to get that three-peat. And then all of a sudden, one of the other teams takes that away from them. That is the feeling that all y'all really want. Because I was like, that's the feeling of a hater at this point. And I was like, guess what? Nearly 90% of y'all is a hater with that. And I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'm not like hating in this type of way. It's fine with me. I was like, I was like, if you want to hate, this is the time to like to hate. This is sports. It's fine. It's cool. But I was like, that's what you really want. I was like, you really want that? Because I was like, guess what? Because I was like, it draws you in for the next game. Because now you're just like, yo, the Chiefs going to win. I swear to God, I'm rooting for the other team. The other team is who I'm going for. I was like, yeah, you go for the Bills, and then also the Bills in the playoffs, and you guess what? Now you don't care, because now that feeling is gone. Now you don't have to. I was like, it's all done seeped away. You're just over here just like, oh, just getting to watch a nice cool game, see a couple commercials. No. The best matchup is for the Chiefs to be in there versus whomever on the other side, and see that it's like, it's not going to happen. That's right, that confetti going to fly on somebody else at the last moment of everything. I was like, to me, that's what sports is where it's just like, oh, this. I was like, look, y'all could have been happy that basically, like, say the Chiefs would have been knocked out by somebody else or whatever. Like, yeah, y'all would have been happy and it'd been fine and, celebrate, parade. But I was like, but this is what drives up everything else. That's what y'all don't understand. They're going to drive up the engine or whatever. So, now my matchup that I would like, more than likely, is the Chiefs and the Commanders. And to be honest, that's actually who I think is going to win. With the Bills and the Chiefs, I was like, at this moment, I was like, it's really just being like, for all the fans and stuff like that, they're all really going for Josh Allen. More than normal because they're going to get the Chiefs, but I was like, there's too much of a drive behind Josh Allen that most people aren't going to be behind him anyway. I was like, Josh Allen is the darling that it was like everybody sort of like loves. But I was like, I don't know if the Bills have really I was like the defense. I was like their defense is solid. I was like their offensive line is really good, which allowed Josh Allen to run the ball, him and James Cook, and also have time to give to the receivers. Now the receivers haven't really done too much. I was like, Shakir's always going to be good for a good play here. I was like, good couple plays. Samuel came on as of late as well, where it's like I feel like with him and Shakir, you basically got two dudes that basically can shake and bake their way up and get like 40 yards if need be. I was like, Hollins and Cole, I was like, they haven't been what they needed to be, and I was like, I know the last game was a snowy game, and I was like, Allen didn't have to throw, so why do it? To me, I was like, to be honest, I was like, I think the X factor is going to basically be either Cole or Cooper, because I was like, you got your jump ball receiver, which we haven't really seen too many times in jump ball situations, and Cooper is like really such a good route runner that I was just like, that's what you might need against this Chiefs team of exploiting. I was like their team and stuff like that. Also, I was like, and the reason I say Cole is because that defense is no joke for the Chiefs. And I was like, and they played Josh Allen enough to where you could keep him contained. I was like, he was able to be contained really with the Ravens. Like I was like, they really were just driving. I mean, they were just really just running the ball so far, and then you gave it to Allen on the goal line. I was like, but they're really able to keep him more so contained. And I was like, I think at some time that guess what, Josh Allen is going to have to be Superman a bit and throw some of them balls up, and you're gonna want your big receiver to catch these catches. And I was like, Cooper, I was like, I think is going to have to basically figure out. I was like, you're gonna have to use him when to know, like, oh, okay, he's going to sit here, he's going to be here, and stuff like that. I was like, is he going to basically do enough of a route in order to get open? They haven't. I was like, it's really the receiving core, because I was like, their tight ends also haven't done too much as well too. I was like, you're going to know what you're going to expect out of Allen and Cook. They're going to try to stop them first. So that's why I was like, the Bills. I was like, it's going to have to be the receiving core with this game. To me, I was like, because you can get the Chiefs on passing more so than you can necessarily with running the ball and doing something to get past their pass rush and whatnot. And to me, with the defense of the Chiefs, I know people are going to say Chris Jones, but I was like, he's already started playing. We already going to know what he's going to do. I think it's going to be Kalafis. I was like, he came up big with the playing against the Ravens, and I think that he had to take advantage of his matchups, because like that offensive line for the Bills is some big boys, and they play tough. I was like, so you're going to have to take up the matchups you're going to get, and I was like, Kalafis is going to have to be that dude, I think, to get that X factor. Because I was like, while I say that you can get stuff on the defense of the passing defense of the Chiefs, the receiver still leaves a lot to be desired or whatever, and that's why he's going to be relied upon Josh Allen doing some crazy plays where it's like George is going to have to get him and type of stuff. With the Chiefs, I was like, pretty much, I'm going to say, obviously, for the defense, I think it's going to really be more so Milano, just because Kelsey is always going to figure out where to get the ball. And I think that's where you're going to have to need Milano, who was sort of being like that interrupter for Lamar in a lot of those situations. I was like, he was the one that was really keeping his eye on Lamar. And I was like, while Patrick Mahomes can't scramble like Lamar, he can. I was like, his scrambling is different than Lamar, to where it's like you still going to have to keep your eye on him to make sure that he's not trying to take off or do these or get his people in position to throw the ball or whatever. But on offense, I really think he's going to basically be. I was like, I could see a big game for DeAndre Hopkins in this one. I was like, but I think Hollywood Brown is going to be the key, because I was like, he's the one that opens up a lot for all of the people on the field. And I can also see, like, you know, like I was like, they won't use him as much, but I can see something with like a Noah Gray as well. But to me, I was like, I think a big game from Hopkins. I was like, and I can see Hollywood Brown also getting key. I was like, he catch one deep ball pass, it opens it up for everybody else, and I think that gets everybody else to eat or whatever like that. But I think the Chiefs will beat. I was like I said, unless Allen do like go Superman on them, which also I'm like, why did we also give him that nickname? We need to give him another nickname. I was like, I feel like it's a little kind of weird that they gave him Superman name, considering all those people are former Carolina people that run the show and stuff like that. It's just weird. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I see the Chiefs. I was like, I think the Chiefs got enough weapons, even though we ain't see them all get utilized like that. In order to, cause I was like, you think about it. I was like, the Chiefs got for their team and the way everybody set up, they got weapons. Whereas like Hollywood Brown, Xavier Woods, Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins. I was like, I think Noah Gray's a really decent tight end that if I was like that could probably play on a lot of teams. I was like Juju Smith, Schuster. I was like they got Mecole Hardman. Like they got enough weapons to where I'm like they got enough people. Not even talk about Pacheco and Hunt that's going to be trying to run the ball, but I think they're going to try to stuff that out with them. Now on the other side, we got the Eagles and Commander. With the Eagles, I think the X factor is really Jalen Hurts. I was like, how good is he off the knee? How is he going to be able to play? And then if you get in pass situations, what are they able to do here? I was like, I think AJ Brown is always good for a deep ball and stuff like that. He's always good to just throw him the ball or whatever. Devontae Smith is always the one that's always a little weird about Colin Freeman. I was like, whoo, talk about an old name from the past. But I was like, when you're in trouble, you're throwing the ball to AJ Brown. And I was like, he's the X factor. Cause I was like, I think they're gonna try to stop Saquon Barkley, but you're not gonna really stop Saquon, even if you want to try. Yeah. So I was like, that's where I see all that's going. And I don't know. I was like, the defense of the Commanders. I was like, the two names. I'm not necessarily doing X factor, but I was like, I think need to have a big game. I think it needs to be one Marshawn Lattimore because he's going to be up against AJ Brown, and I was like, you can't get your tail toasted like you did against Mike Evans in this matchup. I was like, maybe we'll let that slide because he have more beef with Evans or whatever. But that's not that. I was like, don't let it. I was like, don't let it get out of hand because I was like, AJ Brown will eat you up, bro. And I was like, I feel like really like a guy like Dante Fowler. Like I was like getting to the pass, like getting to the quarterback, especially if he's gonna be mobile like that. I was like to me that's somebody I feel like you're going to have to stop, and also Chin, because I was like he's going to at a lot of cases be the last line of defense going against Barkley. I was like that's where he's going to be in a lot of those situations. Then I was like, listen, that boy Jayden Daniels. I was like, I believe him with the Tampa Bay. I was like, I believe in Jayden Daniels. Then with the Lions, I didn't do one of the predictions, but that boy Jayden Daniels. And I was like, once again, and I was like, he's going to also have to step his game up because I was like, this is an Eagle defense that I think got too many people between Carter and Smith and Sweat that it's just going to come for you in a way that I was like, he's going to have to do it all with his legs and his arms. And I was like, now whether Mitchell's able to play, but I was like, they still got enough, I think, of like strength DB wise. I was like, I think Isaiah Oliver, I think he was all right. I know he got hurt like a couple times, but I think he's all right to play. But I was like, you're going to have to basically find the spots to throw the ball against his defense. Because I was like, they got the pass rushers. I was like, their linebackers are also pretty good in space as well with Braun and stuff. And I was like, whether you got Slade, who's gonna be matched up against McLaurin a lot of times, but you can get Slade. Cause I was like Slade, while he'll cover, you could get him for a big play. Cause I was like he wants an interception, so you can always get him for that. It's gonna be can them other receivers, Brown and Crowder, can they step up enough against Dijon? I was like Dijon, like mustard. Man, I was like, my boy. I was like, but Blankenship and dang it, I can't remember the dude's name, but you know who I'm talking about, number 33. Brown's going to have to be dynamic, not Miami. I was like dynamic, I was like for this game, And I was like, I done already talked about the Eagles defense, so there ain't nobody else to really talk about. I was like, I just rattled off like 7, 8 names down, just like Jalen Daniels gonna have. But like in last game, and yes, Jalen Hurts got hurt, but Jalen Daniels was able to take that team down to the last and come with it with the win. And I think that this team is just rolling. Like, would it be shocking if they lost? No. I was like, no, not at all. Where just like, hey, maybe them teams just ride out. But I was like, at this point, I gotta just see it. I just got to see it. I was like, Zach Ertz just might just catch one of them. I was like, catch one of them tutties, and you ain't even see it. So, those are my picks: is the Chiefs and the Commanders. Like I said, to be shocked if any. No, because I was like, all these teams are really kind of even. I was like, Jane Daniels makes it a lot more even against the Eagles than actually what the roster upholds. I was like, even though I was like, I do think that I was like, while the Commanders defense has gotten like so much flack over the season, I was like, I still feel like they're a solid defense. I was like, I'm not thinking they shutting anybody down or like that, but they're solid or whatever. They got really good pieces over there as well. And I think they know how to basically play to basically give Jaden Daniels a chance to be dynamic. Not the Brown, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, where do y'all think? Who are y'all picking? Because I was like, I know who y'all are sort of picking. Y'all are picking the Buffalo mainly. Even though I'm like, is that also who we think is going to win though? But so who y'all picking? Who's the matchup you want to see? Let me know in all of this, because we are going to find out who will go to the Super Bowl. Till then, I'm out.